Hey guys, Trip here, and today we're doing something a little different. First off, you might notice I'm a little quieter than usual. A bit sultry, perhaps. Well, I'm visiting family right now, so we're gonna try and use our inside voices tonight. If you can hear me over this very loud but very pretty brook, okay, it's gone. Keep in mind that I'm recording this on my sister's MacBook, so no fancy editing today. So, my family lives out in the sticks. Not rural per se, but it's a far cry from the urban hellscapes I'm used to. When the sun goes down around here, it can get downright creepy. So, I guess you could say I'm in a spooky mood tonight, and I'm looking for something to scratch that itch. Enter the Offering app, a rabbit hole I keep coming back to. So, this is a horror game, I think. It's confusing. Let me ask you something. You ever see a game so strange that you can't tell if it's sheer brilliance or utter nonsense? Or rather, have you ever seen a game that looks nonsensical at first, but might hide something brilliant within? I think that's what I've stumbled upon here, but I can't be sure until I get my hands on it. So, in the spirit of making simpler videos, let's unravel the madness, watch some trailers, and see if we can make sense of this.
Peggy 18.
Velocity 5.0.6.
So, what did you think of that? Confused? Yeah, that makes sense. So, if you're watching this without context, it might just seem like some sort of weird art project, but trust me, there's a game in here. Somewhere. Matter of fact, let's take a look at some of the gameplay trailers and maybe we can break down what's actually going on here. Or at the very least, try to figure out what this game even is.
The day I killed four nasty children. Crashed six animals on my car.
Th- uh, I don't know what you're looking at me for. I don't know how the hell to explain that. Let's actually go back for a moment. So, this is a scene that seems to show up in a lot of the gameplay trailers, and, I don't know if this character is meant to be some sort of major antagonist or just another strange person who seems to exist in this world, and everything he's saying is perfectly normal in the twisted world of this game. As we go through these trailers, it might make more sense why I'm kind of leaning towards the latter option there. This doesn't seem to be a, I'll say, societally healthy world in which this game takes place. But one thing I will draw attention to, aside from the creepy magazine cutout font, which I think is unique to this trailer. I've seen this scene several times and it doesn't always look like this. Maybe this is just an update. But what is consistent is how garbled and just, I don't want to say nonsensical, but how garbled and distorted the language is within this game. Everything that's being said, they're not talking right. Today I am killed for nasty children. What? And see, this is one of those things that brings me back to what I said at the beginning. Is this nonsense, or does this seem like nonsense and it's actually hiding some sort of method to the madness? A classic example, I guess it's not classic, it's not that old, but a good example, when I think of games like that, is something like Cruelty Squad, a game that does everything in its power to make you think it's just some kind of nonsense, creepy shit post. But if you just give it a little time and you open yourself up to it, I hate using that term. If you just kind of vibe with it and kind of trust it for long enough, you'll start to realize there's a lot more going on here. And the way language seems to work in this game, I think, is very intentional. It's very consistent. And strangely, a lot of the things that are being said do kind of make sense. But let's keep going.
Animals on my
All right.
car.
So we're going to be pausing a lot here. You know how we do things. So this is another recurring thing we keep coming back to in all of these trailers, all of these teasers. This game seems to be presenting itself as more of an application than a game, hence the name. But yeah, it seems to come back to this strange almost OS. And there seems to be some like AI lady talking to you, and I suppose you're going to be sifting through what you can find on this fake computer screen and type in this looks like some kind of demented Google search, and that's what leads you to the levels. So it seems less like a linear game with a literal story of what's going on within the universe of the game, although there might be more going on there as well. This seems to be more like you're exploring some sort of really alien, possibly demonic computer application and seeing what you can find within. And this is an example of what you might find. There's a consistent sense whenever you're within the gameplay aspects of the game that whatever world they're trying to present has completely and utterly morally collapsed. There seems to be this really upsetting kind of nonchalance to the violence we see in this game, the way people talk about violence. And as you're going to see, all this stuff is happening right outside, and yet people are just chilling at a diner. There's a massacre right outside. This is just an average Tuesday for these people. And honestly, this is the kind of thing that, not to bring up a completely unrelated game, but I guess it is somewhat related thematically. This is the kind of thing that really grosses me out in a good way when it comes to games like Cyberpunk 2077, or, to make an even more extreme example, Cruelty Squad. Once again, there's something about societal collapse and like the moral degradation of the human mind and human civilization that really gets under my skin. And you guys know this. I'm not even like a prude Christian conservative or anything. I'm not talking about those kinds of morals necessarily, although there can be some overlap sometimes. I'm talking about like, oh, someone got shot in the face and everybody's just like, yeah, it's another day, or like that there's this darkly comedic scene on the televisions in Cyberpunk 2077 where this like really cynical, insulting future version of a Daily Show host is mocking the idea that anybody would care or the law would get involved when a CEO got drunk and ran over a bunch of children. And everybody's laughing because they all know that nothing matters anymore. It's that kind of thing that really gets under my skin. And there seems to be quite a bit of that within this game world. If this is even, like I said, if this is even supposed to be a coherent, in universe scenario and not just bizarre scenes we're experiencing within this strange app. I don't know if you guys can hear my dog. She's adorable. She is perfect.
Smash cut. Now she's sleeping on my bed like a perfect baby angel. Jesus, this guy looks how I feel. I'm rooting for you, little dude. This guy with burgers scares me out. What do you have against burgers? Oh yeah, you got your regular bar fare, your light ale, your brown ale, your ayahuasca. Yeah, they're clearly saving the ayahuasca option for when we actually play this game. That was a clear little tease there. I guess that's the guy with the burger down there. There's definitely... I don't know what's wrong, but this man is at the entrance gives me animal fear. There's something simultaneously... And this is a hard thing to get right, in my opinion. Something simultaneously very creepy and slightly funny about the way people talk in this game. And I really want to know what the meaning behind it is, because there's a lot of reasons why this could be happening. It could be, symbolic of a lack of connection with one's fellow humans. It could be just indicative of this being some other universe where language developed differently. It could be a sign of, how much this world's society has degenerated. It could be a lot of things. But yeah, it's simultaneously it's interesting to try and parse what they're saying, and also it can be a little silly sometimes, which I think I'm pretty certain is intentional in this game. It's definitely meant to be more creepy than funny. And that's what I mean when I say that's a hard thing to pull off, because we've all seen horror comedy, like your Shaun of the Dead, your Hot Fuzzes. Like, I can only think of movies by that guy, but you know what I mean. But there's something different to be said about something that's very bizarre and abstract and upsetting and disturbing, that can find ways to kind of make you see some dark, twisted humor in it. And I'm definitely getting some of those vibes from this game. So everybody's talking about the guy with the burger. Well, we're one beer deep. We're feeling a little loose. I guess we're gonna talk to him. Maybe not. There is a thin line in the meanwhile when being that is alive becomes just a body. Usually the more I think of something, the more sense it makes. This is somehow the opposite. I thought I understood exactly what he was saying by this, but the more I think about it, the more it just makes my brain hurt. Okay, now we're gonna... And look who it is. Ugh. Definitely some sort of recurring villain. Maybe just in this area, or maybe throughout the game. I doubt this is the go back. Oh, what? What? Wait, go back for a second. None of that made sense. So you walk in here, you see a sign or something written in, I'm guessing, lipstick that says go back. You might think that's some sort of in-universe button you can press to go back where you came from, but then I suppose when he clicks on it, the writing changes. You hear giggling that sounds very close to you, and a knock on a door. And it's telling us to go back on the road where all the blood is. Maybe that's not written in lipstick. I don't like this, and I don't know why. I don't like it because it sounds way too close. The laughter sounds, in a weird way, way too innocent. And in a sort of paradoxical way that makes it sound a lot more upsetting given the context. Okay, we're back on the road. Hey there, buddy. Showing off what you can do with your neck, huh? Oh. Okay. So what did we learn here? I got nothing. Let's go back. God, you can hear those bones snap. The sound design in this game so far is very good. Which also leads to this music, which somewhat harkens back to what I was saying about it being a little bit funny, but mostly creepy, and that being a very odd feeling to have. There's that kind, like, this very understated bass music that's clearly meant to sound like something's creeping up on you, but there's something about how kind of jaunty the bass is that kind of makes it feel emotionally off, tonally off. And I guess that's what makes that style of horror, which I would say I most often see in obscure internet things, that's what makes that style of horror so unique and uncomfortable. It's almost like an uncanny valley between horror and humor. You know what it's like? It's like a POV shot of a man getting eaten alive by a distorted Bugs Bunny while he cracks jokes. Played on TV for an audience of children. It's the kind of horror that feels like it's making a mockery of innocence and moral boundaries. Like a comedy written by a dark Eldar. But here's the thing. I can never tell if what I think is scary is what my audience thinks is scary. You guys tend to have a lot of differing opinions on what frightens you. Some of you are only frightened by more realistic scenarios. Others enjoy fourth wall breaking internet cryptids like the Boiled One. And others still aren't affected by horror at all. Now, me personally, I can find the fear in a lot of things. Mostly because I let my imagination run wild. That said, oh god. That said, I do enjoy when the content of the game at least matches the scale of my thinking. If I'm just reading way too much into something and there's no depth at all, then that's no fun at all. Now, we could spend all day talking about this game and we wouldn't run out of content. See, this game has content going back years. And I do mean years. This is where the rabbit hole starts. But before we get into that, let's take a look at one more trailer. This one's called Long Road Home. Wow, this city is full of danger noises. Oh, hello. The building... This apartment building seems to have cancer. I'm sure that guy's a friend. I don't even know how to begin to explain some of this imagery. Are you my landlord? The lobby is just full of meat. And there's a corpse in the elevator. What is this, New York in the 80s? I have to say, I do like the... Oh, what the... You talk? I thought you were me. Okay, the game is breaking the fourth wall, and... Oh! Okay, I think I just got gayer. Now, there's one more trailer I want to show you, and I think it's an important one because I think it's the only trailer that I've found that seems to give us a sense of what the overarching goal is of this game, if you can even call it a goal. It also ties together some things we saw before. So I don't know if you've seen this face before, but earlier, I don't know if this is... Actually, I haven't looked through what I've recorded yet, so I can't remember if this is something that you guys have seen or something that I saw off screen, but this is another, I don't know, recurring villain, recurring character that we keep running into. Apparently, this is somebody who ran over a bunch of people in his car, and everybody's more concerned about the car than the people. They seem to be speeding this up. For what reason, I don't understand. But this is the important part. You recognize that name? No, I'm not talking about the fish, you dummy. I'm talking about that graffiti we saw on the city wall earlier. Some broken English, Nemo want to entertain, yo, or something like that. So, it seems like at least part of this game revolves around some sort of entity trying to communicate with us through this app and perhaps break free into the real world. Thank you for materializing me in your world. I'm full. Now let me out. To do this, enter the Remove the Wall command in Kill OC. Now this gives us more direct insight into how the game works from a gameplay perspective. So this kind of confirms what I was saying earlier, how the game seems to revolve around this fake operating system called Kill OC, which in and of itself is kind of a silly name, and you can see a lot of these silly, fun-looking icons. I'm sure they'll never threaten me at all. But yeah, it seems like most of this game isn't really about the game itself per se, as it is a more metatextual exploration of the application itself, trying to find every nook and cranny, trying to discover what might be hiding in here, interacting with the characters in the game who seem to give you new commands that you can use to alter things within the game world, like what we're about to witness. And now something's different. What? Ah. Okay, things are moving very quickly. We've seen that guy before. I've also seen another trailer. Jesus. I've also seen another trailer. containing this bizarre, fleshy, biomechanical Frogger traffic scenario. I can't believe you've done this. What is happening to the... There's a lot of really intricate animation going on in this game. And that's... I just realized the town's called Fanky Town. But yeah, there's a lot of very intricate animation going on here. And this is kind of what makes me wonder if there's more going on than just being an elaborate shitpost. These people seem to be rapidly melting, growing cancerous sores. The cars themselves seem to be part of their body. Every frame a painting, I guess. Ugh. God, I hate it. But I kind of love it, though. Oh, hello.
Give me the petals.
Okay, so that flower was a quest item we picked up earlier. So it seems like there'll be some level of choice in this game.
Give it to me. Please.
And it seemed like that character was stuck to the screen and interacting with us directly. And again, this kind of goes back to, and I gotta say, I love this sort of thing. I love games where the game is not the game is about the game. I know that probably makes no sense. I'm talking about things like Pony Island or Break the Game or any game where there's an extra layer of how would you even put this, like an extra layer of story outside of the game itself. In a weird way, that kind of immerses me in the situation more. It kind of it tricks my mind into at least, you know, for a little bit, when I get really into it, really immersed, it tricks me into thinking like, what if this is real? And I love that sort of thing. That's the sort of thing that really puts me into that state of fear. And I really respect when a game that looks this, I don't want to say cartoony, because that's kind of a disservice to this amazing art style, but I will, because I can't think of a better term. When a game this cartoony is able to kind of step outside of itself, reach out and touch me, that's the kind of stuff that really creeps me out. And a lot of people, I mentioned this earlier, but a lot of people, including some of my beloved people in the audience, don't really get scared by something that's not, I used the term realistic earlier, maybe that's the wrong term, because, I mean, no horror game is really realistic, but I suppose maybe the term grounded, something that is more realistic on the surface, like let's say something like Outlast, versus something like, I keep bringing this up, but Cruelty Squad, or any kind of 2D horror game, something like that. Sometimes people don't really get creeped out by that sort of thing. Me, in a weird way, I can kind of be the opposite. Stuff like this is what really gets under my skin. Realism, or the illusion of realism, doesn't necessarily affect how frightening something is to me. Because like I said, my mind can make this stuff make sense. My mind can make this stuff seem real by me filling in the blanks. Like, for example, if I were to guess right now what's happening in this game, I think that we are connecting with some kind of extraplanar entity or entities or some other realm of existence, with this game being sort of the medium through which we interact with it and try to comprehend what their world is really like. Maybe it literally looks like this. Maybe it's literally a cartoon world. Or, you know, maybe this is just the medium of the game presenting this stuff to us in this way. But the point being, stuff like this, in a way, creeps me out more than something that I can more easily latch onto as relatable to my own real world experience, if that makes sense. And then if you throw on an extra layer of symbolism and, themes and disturbing content that makes me think about the real world, like what we were talking about earlier with the kind of moral degradation theme within this game, then it's kind of the best of both worlds, or I guess the worst of both worlds, in my opinion. God. Why is everything so lumpy and rashy and cancerous? What the fuck? Is that an Xbox 360 achievement? Oh. There's a lot going on with you and none of it good. And I just don't like looking at you at all. You fucked up Garfield. Stop grinding your teeth. It's bad for you. Now, let's peel the layers back a bit. According to what I could find, this game has been in development for at least 18 years. At least if you believe the listings on itch.io. The game is being made, perhaps exclusively, by a Serbian artist named Kesha White. You've probably seen their name pop up throughout the trailers. According to the metafiction of the game, White is being coerced into making it by some unknown force, possibly the voices inside their head. Supposedly the game is designed to help people, but it's unclear how. There's at least 2 demos available on itch.io. One that claims to be from 2010, and one that claims to be from 2008. Now, I don't know how easy it is to fake something like that on itch.io. For all I know, this could simply be more metafiction tied to the game's lore. You'll also notice that the 2008 demo cost $666. Now, I don't know what this is about, but it seems to be legit, judging by some of these comments. Thankfully, the 2010 demo was available for $6.66. I'm starting to see a pattern here.
I know writers who use subtext, and they're all cowards. Okay?
Anyway, if I were to guess, I'd say this game is maybe around 4 or 5 years old, not 18. But if this game has been in the works for anywhere near as long as they claim, I can only imagine how much content is hiding behind that demented search function. Best case scenario, this game could be a treasure trove of creepy and mysterious content for us to piece together. But I want to know what you guys think. Is this game just a very elaborate shitpost, or is it the life's work of an eccentric artist? Do you want to see me explore this game some more? It's slated to release in March of next year, and I can always give one of the demos a try. Let me know in the comments. If you want more videos on creepy internet crap, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.